Listen. Outside your window, the world is loud. It is a world of buzzing electricity, of distant traffic, and the restless hum of a century that never sleeps. But inside this breath, it is 1347. The great winter of the Middle Ages has arrived, and while the iron frost claims the earth outside, you are about to find the warmest place in history. Close your eyes. Let the heavy iron-bound gates of the centuries swing shut behind you, locking out the noise, the glare, and the demands of the present. You are no longer a citizen of the modern world. You are a traveler, seeking refuge in the heart of a frozen time. You aren't just listening to a story. You are stepping into a sanctuary of shadow and wood smoke. Feel the pillow beneath your head. It is your fortress. As we travel back 700 years, every worry of your modern life, the unanswered messages, the unfinished tasks, the weight of tomorrow, is being buried under a deep, silent, and eternal snowfall. The frantic blue glow of your screens is being replaced by the soft, flickering amber of an ancient hearth. You are safe. You are hidden. You are exactly where you need to be, at the edge of a world that understands the true meaning of rest. Focus now on the weight of your body. Feel how the mattress rises to meet you, supporting you with the same unwavering strength as the stone floors of a medieval manor. Imagine a wave of warmth, like the first heat of a banked fire, touching your forehead. Let that warmth imagine the color of the world outside. It is a deep, bruised indigo, the soft, heavy color of a medieval December evening, when the sun has long since surrendered to the horizon. There is no lingering twilight here, no artificial city glow to pierce the velvet edges of the dark. Instead, there is only the vast, crystalline clarity of the great frost. The air is so still, it feels like a physical embrace, a frozen sea that has settled over the rolling hills of the English countryside. Every branch of the ancient oaks is encased in a delicate silver armor of rime ice, shimmering like dust from stars under the pale, indifferent light of a rising winter moon. The world has become a cathedral of glass, beautiful in its stillness, profound in its ancient power. You can almost feel the earth itself breathing in, contracting, the soil settling into a deep winter sleep, the very sap in the trees turning to quiet, cold stone. As you lie there, feel the absolute heavy stillness of that landscape. It is a world where movement is a rare luxury, and every breath is a visible, dancing ghost. In the year 1347, the wind does not just blow, it whispers through the reeds, searching for a place to rest. It wanders across the frozen fields, seeking the smallest gap in a wooden shutter, but it cannot find you. Between you and that biting, blue darkness, there are layers of protection that the people of the Middle Ages could only dream of in their prayer. You are cocooned in a sanctuary of modern softness, yet your heart is beginning to beat in time with the deep, slow pulse of that ancient winter. The cold outside is a roaring silence, a frozen void that stretches for miles across empty heaths, but it only serves to make the space you occupy feel smaller, warmer, and infinitely more secure. You are the center of a quiet universe. Contrast that lethal outer ice with the blossoming, radiant warmth of your own bed. Feel the texture of your blankets, how light they are, like a drift of fallen snow, yet how perfectly they hold the gentle heat of your skin. In the 14th century, warmth was a heavy, scratchy thing made of raw wool and huddling breath. For you, it is effortless. It is a soft, weightless cloud that keeps the winter at a distance. Every time you shift your weight, you feel the familiar, welcoming embrace of your mattress. A stark, comforting contrast to the unforgiving, frozen earth of the past. The frost may be etching intricate, fern-like patterns on the window pane, but inside your circle of peace, the air is still and kind. You are like a seed buried deep beneath the winter snow, dormant and protected, waiting in the fertile darkness for a spring that is a lifetime away. There is no hurry. There is no task. The winter has paused the clock, and you have been granted a holy permission to pause with it. The cold is not your enemy tonight. It is the frame that makes your warmth feel sacred. Without the bitter frost of 1347, the simple comfort of your sheets would be ordinary. But as we look out together at the iron-gray sky and the shimmering, frozen plains, your warmth becomes a miracle. It is a tiny, glowing hearth in the middle of a vast, white wilderness. The more the imaginary wind sighs through the spectral trees of history, the deeper you sink into the reality of your rest. You are experiencing the most primal form of human satisfaction, the knowledge of being indoors while the world outside is made of ice. It is a feeling that has remained unchanged for 1,000 years, a deep, cellular recognition of safety that bypasses the modern mind and speaks directly to your spirit. You are the warmth that the ancients longed for. The great, frozen rivers of Europe are silent now, their currents trapped beneath a heavy sheet of solid blue glass. The birds have long since fallen still in the thick hedgerows. The very concept of time has frozen along with the landscape. In this deep winter, there is no morning to rush toward. Only a long, unfolding night that invites you to disappear into its soft folds. Your breathing is the only rhythm that matters now, a slow, steady rise and fall that echoes the hibernation of the world. You are unweaving yourself from the tensions of your own era, and reweaving your consciousness into the slow, steady endurance of the past. The frost is a boundary, a wall of crystal that keeps the noise of life away from this moment of pure, unadulterated stillness. You are shielded. You are hidden. You are safe. No ghost of the great frost can penetrate the fortress of your blankets. No echo of the medieval wind can disturb the quiet sanctuary of your room. You are tucked away in a fold of time, a hidden pocket of history, where the only requirement is to let your limbs grow heavy and your thoughts grow dim like fading embers. The world outside is a masterpiece of ice, a testament to the power of the winter, but you are the master of the warmth. You are the pulse in the center of the frost, beating slowly, steadily, and peacefully in the dark. The moon reflects off the snow with such intensity that the fields seem to glow with an inner silver light. The shadows of the leafless trees stretch long and thin across the white crust, like hands reaching for a heat they can never touch. But we are moving closer to the heart of the village now, leaving the wide open freezing plains behind to find the true source of life in the dark. Let us step across the frozen field toward a flickering orange light, a tiny defiant spark dancing in the distance behind the heavy timber walls of a peasant's longhouse, beckoning us in from the cold. Spread. Let it soften the bridge of your nose, the corners of your eyes, and the tension you hold in your temples. Your mind is beginning to mirror the landscape we are entering, vast, white, and perfectly still. There is no need to think. There is only the need to perceive. Bring your awareness to your jaw. So much of our modern stress lives here, in the clenching of teeth and the setting of the mouth. Let it go. Drop your jaw just a fraction. Feel the cool air move in and out of your lungs with an effortless grace. You are breathing in the crisp, untainted air of the 14th century air that smells of pine needles, cold stone, and the distant promise of a wood fire. With every exhale, you are sinking deeper into the soft hay of your imagination, a place where the only clock is the slow turning of the stars and the steady pulse of the seasons. The warmth is traveling further now, flowing down into your shoulders. Imagine them melting, like wax from a tallow candle, into the sheets. Feel your arms grow heavy, so heavy that they seem to merge with the bed itself. Your hands are open, your fingers relaxed, no longer reaching for anything. You have everything you need right here, in the quiet darkness of your own sanctuary. Your heart is finding a new rhythm, a slower beat that matches the deep, ancient silence of a world before machines. You are drifting, crossing a bridge made of mist and memory, leaving the 21st century behind like a fading dream. In this space between then and now, you are invincible. The freezing winds of 1347 may howl across the European plains, and the great frost may turn the rivers to solid glass. But here, in the circle of this story, you are protected. You are the keeper of the flame. You are the one who has found the secret door to the past, where the nights are long and the sleep is as deep as the roots of the world. Contrast between the lethal cold of history and the absolute safety of your bed is a lullaby, a soft, vibrating frequency that is pulling you down into the velvet shadows of the Middle Ages. Tonight, the modern world stops at your door. You are entering a winter 7 centuries old, a time of bone-chilling frost and incredible, flickering intimacy. It is a world where survival was a quiet ritual, and the hearth was the only sun. You are safe in your warmth, watching the ice of the past begin to form on a window that hasn't been built yet, feeling the profound peace of a soul that has finally found its way home. Let your breath become as slow as the falling snow. Imagine a single flake, white and crystalline, drifting down through a heavy, leaden sky. It does not hurry. It has no destination other than the ground. It twists, it turns, it yields completely to the gravity of the earth. Your thoughts are that snowflake. They are quiet. They are slow. They are settling into a landscape of white peace, covering every jagged edge of your reality until the world is smooth, blurred, and perfectly silent. Our journey begins with the first frost of 1347, as the long shadows of the Great Famine winters begin to stretch across the European plains, turning the vibrant green of the fields into a brittle, shimmering silver. The heavy oak door groans on its iron hinges, a slow, low-frequency sound that resonates not just in the air, but in the very center of your chest, like the hum of an ancient bell. As you step across this weathered threshold, the biting, crystalline air of the exterior world is abruptly replaced by a thick, welcoming atmosphere that feels like a physical, velvet embrace. It is a transition of the soul. Close your eyes now, in your modern bed, and imagine this dense perfume of the past. It is the deep, grounding aroma of aged oak timber, seasoned by decades of frost and sun, the sharp, sweet tang of wood smoke that has permeated every fiber of the golden thatch roof above, and the dusty, sun-baked scent of dry winter hay piled. This is the smell of a medieval sanctuary. It is a thick, protective air that carries the silent history of 1,000 fires, and the quiet, collective breath of a house that is very much alive. The transition is complete. You have moved from the vast, freezing plains into the intimate, shadowy heart of the year 1347. In the dimness of this longhouse, the light does not shine, it glows. The shadows here are not cold or empty. They are thick, soft, and weighted, like layers of dark, unwashed wool draped over the jagged edges of reality. As you move deeper into the room, your feet find the familiar solid resistance of the earth floor, beaten hard and smooth by generations of footsteps, a direct, cooling connection to the ancient soil that rests beneath the foundation. The walls around you, fashioned from wattle and daub, are thick and uneven, their surfaces holding the phantom warmth of the summer's sun within their mud and straw core. There are no sharp corners here, no harsh, sterile lines of modern architecture to distract the eye. Everything is rounded, softened by centuries of time and the gentle, repetitive touch of human hands. In this deep darkness, the world feels smaller, tighter, and infinitely more manageable. The terrifying, infinite scale of the winter landscape outside has been traded for the close, rhythmic safety of these 4 timber walls. You are no longer a speck in a storm. You are the center of a home. Listen closely to the symphony of the shadows. From the far end of the longhouse, past the partition of woven hazel hurdles, comes a sound that is the very definition of peace, the slow, synchronized breathing of the livestock. In the heart of the great frost, the cattle and the sheep are brought inside, their massive, powerful bodies acting as living, breathing furnaces for the family. You can hear the rhythmic, heavy grind of a cow shifting her weight in the soft straw, the low, huffing sigh of a goat dreaming of spring clover, and the occasional gentle rustle of a nesting hen settling her wing. Their collective body heat rises in invisible, humid plumes, mingling with the drifting smoke of the hearth to create a warm, moist microclimate that defies the iron frost waiting just inches away on the other side of the wood. This is a shared life, a primal bond. There is no separation here between the human and the natural world. You are part of a great, breathing, whole circle of living beings, huddled together against the indifferent silence of the stars. Their breath is your breath. Their warmth is your warmth. In this darkness, there is no clock, only the rhythm of the seasons and the slow, steady pulse of the earth. The frantic, ticking seconds of your modern life, the digital demands, and the urgent deadlines have no power here. They cannot cross this threshold. Time is not a straight line moving toward an end. It is a circle, as slow and inevitable as the changing phases of the winter moon. In the year 1347, you do not spend time as if it were a diminishing currency. You dwell within it, like a stone in a riverbed. The morning will come only when the light itself decides to return, not when a machine commands. This realization brings a profound, heavy sense of relief to your weary mind. You are no longer responsible for the hours. You are no longer chasing the sun across the sky. You are simply a witness to the slow unfolding mystery of the night. The pressure to do has completely evaporated, replaced by the holy, quiet obligation to simply be, tucked away in the soft, dark, and fragrant folds of a century that understood the true value of the long winter wait. Your mind is settling into the quiet density of these timber walls. Feel your consciousness expanding, slowly, like water seeping into the grain of the wood, until you fill every corner of this room. You are becoming as sturdy and as unmoving as the great oak pillars that hold up the weight of the thatch. The wood around you is ancient. Its grain is tight and resilient, having survived 100 gales before it ever became a shelter for humans. Like the wood, you are finding your inner strength in the utter stillness of the dark. The heavy, protective silence of the house is pressing gently against you, smoothing out the jagged, frantic thoughts of the day, turning your internal world into a perfect mirror of this medieval sanctuary. You are rooted. You are solid. You are a fundamental part of the architecture of rest. The world outside may be made of glass and ice, but here, within these walls, you are made of earth, old wood, and a warmth that goes deeper than the marrow of your bones. The darkness is absolute now, yet it is not blind. Your eyes have adjusted to the velvet gloom, picking out the ghost-like shapes of the heavy rafters above and the hanging bundles of dried herb sage. The house is exhaling with you, the timber creaking softly as it contracts in the cold of the night, a reassuring rhythmic sound that speaks of centuries of endurance and stability. You are not just in a room, you are inside a living history, a place where every shadow has a story, and every silence is a quiet prayer for the coming spring. You are tucked so far away from the noise of the future that even the memory of a machine feels like a distant, flickering, and unimportant ghost. Here, in the year 1347, you are finally allowed to be silent. You are finally allowed to be still. As you drift deeper into the soft straw of your imagination, the sounds of the animals in the shadows fade into a low, harmonic hum of vibration of pure life that anchors you to the present moment. Your body feels heavy, as if it were made of the same hard-packed earth as the floor, anchored by the gravity of the past. You are ready now to move toward the soul of the home, the single point of light from which all life, all stories, and all warmth emerge in the frozen dark. The air is still. The heart is quiet. The journey is only beginning, but you have already found the place where you belong. At the center of this world lies a single living coal, a tiny sun buried deep beneath the protective gray ash, waiting to tell us the secret of how to survive the longest night of the year. Look up now, or rather, allow your inner gaze to drift slowly upward toward the unseen, vaulted ceiling of this medieval sanctuary. Above you sits a massive, sloping canopy of golden wheat straw the thatch. It is not merely a functional roof. It is a dense, organic mountain of tightly woven reeds, layered by the hands of craftsmen over decades until it has become nearly 1.5 feet deep. This thatch is a silent, ancient guardian. Imagine the thousands of individual stalks, pressed so closely together that they swallow every vibration of the outside world. Outside, the winter wind may scream and claw across the eaves, but here, within this golden shell, the straw absorbs the sound, turning the freezing gale into a faint, rhythmic, and distant shush like the white noise of a phantom sea breaking on a forgotten shore. Beside you, the walls of Wattle and Daub stand as silent, steadfast sentinels. They are thick, uneven, and profoundly honest hand-pressed mixtures of clay, straw, and deep earth, woven into a sturdy wooden skeleton that has stood the test of 100 cruel winters. These walls do not just block the cold. They seem to absorb the very essence of the silence itself, creating a dense fortress of stillness that modern materials could never hope to replicate. You are inside a cocoon of earth and gold. As the last flicker of your imagination's candle dies away, you are introduced to a sensation almost entirely lost to our brightly lit modern era. The heaviness of a world without electricity. In our time, darkness is often thin, superficial, and easily pierced by the blue glare of a screen or the restless orange haze of a street lamp. But here, in the winter of 1347, the darkness has a physical, comforting weight. It is a true, absolute blackness that feels as thick as liquid honey and as soft as aged velvet. Without the frantic, demanding pulse of artificial light, your eyes finally stop their restless searching for detail and begin to rest in the vast, unmapped territory of the shadows. This darkness is not an empty void. It is a rich, nourishing presence. It is a cooling balm for an overstimulated mind, a heavy, silent pressure that encourages your thoughts to slow their frantic spinning, to lose their sharp edges, and to settle like fine dust in an empty, quiet room. In this lightless world, the boundaries of your body seem to expand and dissolve, leaving you floating in a vast, warm sea of pure, undisturbed peace. Feel the true weight of this total darkness pressing gently, lovingly against your skin. It is a comforting gravity, a protective blanket made of absolute nothingness that shields you from the visual noise of existence. In the Middle Ages, when the sun surrendered to the horizon, the world truly and completely closed its eyes. There was no after-hours labor, no late-night scrolling, and no second-guessing the day's events under the harsh glare of a bulb. When the light vanished, the human soul was given a sacred, undeniable command to rest. You are feeling that command now, vibrating through the very timbers of this house. The silence of the longhouse is so profound, so deep, that you can hear the faint, melodic creaking of the oak frames as they contract in the iron frost, a sound that only serves to emphasize how still and how safe the air around you has become. Every shadow in this room is a place where a worry has gone to sleep. The darkness is a soft, heavy hand laid gently over the frantic beating of the modern heart, slowing it down to the ancient, steady, and primordial rhythm of the sleeping earth. You are drifting in a timeless sea of shadows. Darkness here is not empty. It is a velvet blanket that protects the weary. It is the original, quiet home of the human spirit, the womb of history where we go to be repaired, renewed, and remembered. In this absolute black, you are beautifully invisible to your troubles, and they, in turn, are invisible to you. You are tucked away so deeply in the dark folds of the 14th century that the future cannot find you. This darkness is a gift, a rare and precious silence that wraps itself around your tired shoulders and whispers that the day is truly, finally over. There is nothing left to see, nothing left to judge, and nothing left to do but yield to the warm, weightless current of the night. The architecture of this house is not just wood and clay. It is built of silence and shadows, designed to hold you in a state of perfect, unmoving grace, while the world outside turns to glass. Sink deeper now into the growing weight of your own body. Feel the gravity of the ancient earth pulling you down to the soft, supportive layers of your bed. Your limbs feel as heavy as the great oak beams above you, rooted, stable, and completely immovable. Your head feels as light as the gray smoke drifting toward the thatch, floating in a cloud of profound calm. The world of 1347 has stripped away everything that is unnecessary, leaving you with only the absolute basics of existence: a roof, a wall, a breath, and a deep, abiding safety. You are becoming a part of the house itself, a part of the long night, and a part of the silent winter that has held humanity in its protective cradle since the very beginning of time. Every muscle is unraveling, every nerve is cooling as you surrender to the density of the silence. The air remains perfectly still, pregnant with the comforting scent of old wood smoke and the quiet, rhythmic peace of the livestock dreaming in the straw. But even in this beautiful, heavy darkness, there is a flickering, golden heart that keeps the deepest shadows at bay, a memory of life and light that we must now approach. We are moving slowly through the velvet gloom, guided not by our eyes, but by the faint, pulsing warmth of a hidden treasure resting in the center of the room. It is the pulse of the home, the spark that defies the frost. We gather now around the ancient hearth, the sacred center where the last embers of the day wait in the gray ash to share their final, glowing secrets of survival and peace. Move your awareness now, slowly and without the slightest effort, to the very center of the longhouse floor. In the deep, velvet midnights of the year 1347, the hearth is not merely a practical source of heat. It is the beating heart of the entire world, the sacred, glowing altar of the medieval home. As the family prepares for the long, freezing hours of the great frost ahead, there begins a quiet, nightly ritual known as banking the fire. Imagine an elder reaching out with a heavy, soot-blackened iron shovel, their movements slow, deliberate, and practiced over a lifetime of 1,000 winter nights. They do not extinguish the flames. Instead, they gently gather the remaining glowing, orange coals into a tight, radiant mound in the center of the stone pit. Then, with a grace that borderlines on a silent, ancient prayer, they begin to cover these fierce, beautiful little lights with a thick, insulating blanket of soft, powdery gray ash. This layer of ash acts as a silken, protective cocoon, starving the fire of just enough oxygen to prevent it from burning away too quickly, yet holding its core at a steady, pulsing heat that can survive until the very first gray light of the winter dawn. This is the ancient art of preservation, the profound knowledge that to keep the future alive, one must first protect the glowing embers of the past. You are watching the fire learn how to breathe in its sleep. You are watching the light find its rest. Rest your inner gaze on that hidden subterranean glow. Even through the heavy veil of gray ash, a soft, hypnotic amber light pulses in the center of the room like the steady, tranquil heartbeat of a great slumbering giant. It is a warm, breathing orange, the color of a summer sunset trapped forever in stone. As you watch this light from the absolute, unwavering safety of your modern blankets, you feel a wave of profound, hypnotic calm washing over your entire body. From the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, there is a deep, primal satisfaction in watching a fire rest. In the Middle Ages, this was the only light that mattered, a golden promise in a world made of silver ice and iron shadows. The flickering reflections danced slowly, ever so slowly, across the heavy, soot-stained oak rafters above your head, creating shifting patterns of shadow that look like the wings of giant, silent birds presiding over your quiet rest. The glow is not bright. It is a suggestion of light, a gentle, low-frequency hum of energy that tells your nervous system that the danger of the frost has been held at bay. Every pulse of the amber ember is a silent promise that you are not alone in the dark. The fire is sleeping, and because the fire is safe, you may finally completely sleep too. In the intimate circle of this fading warmth, the air is filled with the low, melodic murmur of ancient voices. The stories whispered by the elders to the children as they huddle deeply into the dry, fragrant winter straw. These are not stories of excitement, tension, or high adventure. They are the slow, winding, and repetitive tales of the earth itself, of ancestors who walked these same frozen fields 100 years before, and of the spirits that dwell in the eternal silence of the ancient forests. The voices are soft, frayed at the edges by age and the profound, heavy quiet of the winter night. They speak in a rhythmic cadence, a steady, hypnotic flow of words that feels like the gentle brushing of dry autumn leaves against a mossy stone wall. You do not need to follow the plot, the characters, or even the meaning of their tales. Just listen to the sound, the slow, rhythmic rise and fall of the vowels, the gentle, soothing hiss of the sibilants, the way the language itself seems to be fashioned out of wood smoke and old memory. These whispers are a bridge between the living and the dead, a soft, unbreakable chain of sound that binds the family together against the vast, indifferent cold of the medieval night. The words are becoming a part of the shadows, and the shadows are becoming a part of you, pulling you down into the soft earth of the past. This fire is a small sun, kept indoors to guard the soul of the family. In the year 1347, the hearth was the only sun that didn't set when the world turned black. It was the absolute center of the universe, the single point around which all life, all hope, and all human dreams revolved in the cold. To the people of this longhouse, the fire was a living, respected member of the household, a golden guest that provided light for their eyes, heat for their blood, and a focus for their weary spirit. When the world outside was consumed by the great frost, and the stars were like needles of white ice in the black sky, this small, banked sun stayed true. It guarded their dreams from the encroaching shadows. It stood watch over the elders, the small children, and the livestock alike, its warmth acting as a silent, invisible shield against the void of the winter night. As you lie in your modern bed, feel that same ancient guardianship. Your room is your longhouse, and the warmth you feel now is that same sacred sun, miniaturized, softened, and glowing just for you in the middle of your own private winter. You are the keeper of the flame, and the flame is the keeper of your peace. You are safe. You are warm. You are protected by the fire that never truly dies. Watch now as an occasional solitary spark manages to escape the heavy, silencing blanket of ash. A tiny, brilliant point of gold. It rises slowly from the hearth, caught in the invisible, rising currents of warm air that circulate near the ceiling. It is a miniature star, a fleeting fragment of the sun's very soul. Watching the sparks, rising, drifting, fading. They journey upward toward the dark, cavernous thatch of the roof, glowing brightly for a fleeting, magical second before they vanish into the velvet shadows, returning to the profound silence from which they were born. Their movement is utterly hypnotic, a slow-motion dance that draws your eyelids lower and lower with every passing second, every rhythmic breath. Rising, drifting, fading. Each spark is a thought you no longer need to hold on to. Each spark is a heavy memory of the day that is now being gently, irrevocably released into the night. You are becoming as weightless as the smoke itself, rising and drifting with the embers, until you are nothing but a warm, peaceful glow in a vast, silent dark. The gravity of the day has been traded for the levity of the dream. You are floating. You are letting go. The house has fallen into a deeper, more resonant state of rest now. The whispers of the elders have faded into the slow, steady, and rhythmic breathing of the family. A collective sound that mimics the distant tides of a perfectly calm sea. The only sound left in the world is the occasional, soft, metallic click of a cooling coal, and the rhythmic, grounding sigh of the cattle in the far shadows of the longhouse. The darkness is total, yet the memory of the orange glow stays behind your eyelids, like a permanent, golden anchor of safety. You are tucked so far away from the world of movement, noise, and light that you have become a part of the stillness itself. The fire has done its work. It has banked its energy, conserving its soul, just as you have banked yours for the night. You are reserved, protected, and perfectly, beautifully still. The iron frost of the great winter is still out there, pressing its frozen, hungry fingers against the heavy timber walls, but it is a distant, unimportant truth that cannot reach you. Your only truth, your only reality, is the warmth, the soft gray ash, and the slow amber pulse of the hearth. As the last visible sparks vanish into the rafters and the fire settles into its deepest, most secret slumber, the very atmosphere of the longhouse begins to shift, to deepen, and to settle. The dry, smoky scent of the wood smoke and the ancient oak begins to mingle with a new arrival, a heavy, comforting fragrance that speaks of the deep, nourishing earth and the quiet, patient labor of the winter kitchen. It is the scent of a long simmering peace, a slow reduction of time itself, where the essence of life is concentrated into a single warm breath. The room is no longer just a shelter. It is a cradle. The silence is no longer just an absence of noise. It is a presence of grace. You are sinking, drifting, and falling into the heart of the home, where the cold can never follow and the night is always kind. The air carries a new scent now, rich and grounding, a slow rolling aroma of salted grains, root vegetables, and winter herbs that tells the body that the cycle of survival is finally, completely finished, and the time for total, absolute surrender to the night has arrived. You are ready to taste the peace of the winter pottage. Listen now, with the absolute, unwavering stillness of a mind that has finally found its home, to the gentlest and most rhythmic of sounds. A low, consistent, and deeply resonant bubbling that emerges from the velvet shadows near the hearth. It is the ancient primordial song of a heavy soot-blackened iron pot, suspended by a thick, hand-forged chain from a smoke-stained timber beam. Inside that dark vessel, a quiet miracle of human survival is slowly, patiently unfolding. As you lie in the perfect, climate-controlled sanctuary of your modern bed, allow your senses to drift toward the intoxicating, heavy fragrance that is beginning to fill every wooden pore of the medieval longhouse. It is a scent that speaks of the deep, patient earth and the ancestral wisdom of the harvest. The salt, sweet, grounding aroma of dried grains like barley and rye, the sharp, earthy, and infinitely comforting scent of winter leeks pulled from the frozen mud, and the faint medicinal whisper of dried herbs, wild sage, woody rosemary, and mountain thyme that were gathered in the golden, buzzing height of summer and hung from the rafters. This is the winter pottage, the slow simmering heart of the home. The scent is thick, nourishing, and profoundly protective, a fragrant, invisible shield that stands between the family and the biting, hollow hunger of the great frost. It is the smell of endurance, of safety, and of a life that refuses to be diminished by the iron ice outside. Imagine the heavy wooden ladle, carved with immense patience from a single piece of seasoned ashwood, moving in a slow, repetitive, and perfectly circular motion within the pot. The motion is utterly hypnotic, around and around, a steady, unhurried rhythm that has been performed by 1,000 generations of mothers and fathers in the flickering firelight. The ladle does not just stir the simple ingredients. It stirs the very fabric of time itself, blending the past, the present, and the future into a single warm reality. You can almost feel the soft, yielding resistance of the thick pottage against the wood, a satisfying, dense weight that promises fullness, physical strength, and a sleep so deep it knows no dreams. The steam rises in white, swirling plumes, catching the last dim amber glow of the banked fire before disappearing into the dark, cavernous thatch of the roof above. As you watch this movement in your mind's eye, your own breathing begins to naturally, effortlessly match the ladle's slow, circular pace. In and out, around, and around. The frantic, jagged, and nervous energy of the modern world is now 1,000 miles away, 1,000 years in the future, replaced by this singular, focused act of simple, honest nourishment. There is no rush to finish. There is no deadline to meet. There is no pressure to achieve. There is only the beauty of the process, the quiet, holy satisfaction of a meal that has taken the entire day to reach its peak of perfection. Against the stark, terrifying backdrop of the lethal frost that has turned the world outside into a silent desert of glass and stone. This warm meal is a supreme victory of the human spirit. It is the ultimate, primal satisfaction of the body. Every slow, intentional spoonful of this thick, earthy broth carries the concentrated energy of the summer sun that grew the grain and the soft, life-giving rains that nourished the deep, hidden roots. As the family gathers their hand-carved wooden bowls, the sound of the iron pots bubbling becomes a low-frequency lullaby of sustenance. The warmth of the steam brushes gently against their weathered faces, softening the hard lines of a day spent battling the bitter cold of the fields. You too can feel that warmth. It is a radiant, liquid heat that begins in the very center of your chest and begins to expand outward in slow, rhythmic waves, melting the last lingering traces of tension in your shoulders, your neck, and your heavy limbs. The winter may be long, and the nights may be bitter beyond measure, but for this hour, there is only the profound, simple joy of being fed, being warm, and being together in the protective, fragrant dark. The pot is full, the fire is banked, and therefore the soul is quiet. In this sanctuary of steam and shifting amber shadow, time is measured not in minutes or seconds, but in the slow, inevitable reduction of the soup. The ticking of a mechanical clock would be an unimportant, jarring insult to the deep peace of this room. Here, time is a liquid thing, a slow-moving, golden river that thickens and deepens as the hours pass by. You are learning the sacred, forgotten art of existing in the now of the Middle Ages estate, where the future is just a distant, unimportant whisper, and the past is a fading, dusty echo. The only reality that exists is the comforting weight of the bowl in your hands, the rising, fragrant heat of the broth, and the slow, steady transformation of simple, earth-bound ingredients into the very essence of human life. This is the true meaning of slow time. It is a meditation on patience, a quiet, rhythmic reminder that the most essential things in life cannot and should not be hurried. As the pottage grows richer, more concentrated, and more nourishing, your mind grows quieter and more still, shedding the unnecessary weight of your modern schedule until you are as solid, as grounded, and as peaceful as the ancient stone walls of the longhouse. Feel that internal warmth now, spreading slowly, surely, and inevitably from the core of your being to the very edges of your skin. It is a gentle, pulsing heat that follows the hidden winding pathways of your blood, reaching out to the furthest, coldest corners of your weary body. Internal warmth, spreading to your fingers and your toes. Feel the tips of your fingers softening, the joints losing their stiffness, the palms of your hands growing heavy, warm, and perfectly still against your modern sheets. Feel the heat traveling down through your legs like a golden current, warming your knees and flowing into your feet, until every single inch of your physical form is cocooned in a soft, internal glow of absolute, unshakable safety. It is as if you have swallowed a small, glowing piece of the hearth itself. You are no longer a victim of the winter. You are a vessel of the light. The cold outside is merely a distant, fading memory, a ghost of a thought that cannot touch the radiant, heavy peace that has taken deep, permanent root within you. You are full. You are heavy. You are profoundly, deeply warm. The ritual of the meal is ending now, and a deep, resonant silence is beginning to settle over the longhouse floor. Like a soft fall of snow, the wooden bowls are set aside with a gentle clatter. The iron pot is moved to the very edge of the cooling hearthstones, and the family begins to sink back into the soft, welcoming, and fragrant straw of their beds. The livestock in the far shadows have fallen silent. They're breathing a low, rhythmic, and harmonic hum that vibrates through the earth floor and into your own bones. The darkness is no longer something to be feared, fought, or avoided. It is a velvet sanctuary that has been earned through the simple, honest labor of survival. Your eyes are growing so heavy now that even the thought of movement feels like a beautiful, distant dream. The world of 1347 is folding in on itself, drawing you deeper and deeper into its warm, smoky heart, further away from the noise, the light, and the pressure of the century you left behind. You are becoming a part of the shadows, a part of the lingering, sweet wood smoke, and a part of the ancient, indestructible peace that only comes after a long winter's meal. The light of the embers has faded to a deep, dark ruby, and the last of the nourishing steam has vanished into the high, dark rafters of the thatch. The room is perfectly still, perfectly balanced between the heat of the body and the cool, clean air of the night. You are drifting on a vast, shoreless sea of shadows, carried by the slow, steady, and reliable current of your own heartbeat. Every breath you take is a surrender to the night. Every heartbeat is a step further away from the waking world. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to wait for. There is nothing left to prove. The day is done, the hunger is gone, the hearth is safe, and the night is yours to command. You are sinking. You are fading. You are finally, truly home. The fire dies down into a soft, glowing memory, and the entire house enters a collective trance, a state of shared, ancient dreaming, where the boundaries between the self and the world dissolve into a single, shimmering thread of starlight and absolute silence. You are safe. You are warm. You are sleeping in the heart of history, gently, like the slow, inevitable receding of a silver tide under a winter moon. The medieval thread of 1347 begins to unweave itself from the warm fabric of your consciousness. The heavy, smoke-stained timber beams of the ancient longhouse start to soften at their edges, blurring and dissolving into the quiet, familiar, and welcoming shadows of your actual room. The rhythmic, heavy breathing of the livestock in the far distance becomes nothing more than the faint, comforting, and mechanical hum of the modern world outside your window, a world that is now hushed, perfectly still, and at absolute peace. You are traveling back through the long corridors of the centuries, moving upward through layers of time, dust, and memory, drifting from the rough-hewn earth of the past to the refined, climate-controlled sanctuary of the present. The transition is as light as a single falling feather, a graceful and silent return to the here and now, where the ghosts of history bow their tired heads and retreat into the books, leaving you in the very center of your own private fortress. You are coming home, not just to a physical place, but to a miraculous moment in time that has been built, stone by stone, for the sole purpose of your total rest. As you settle back into the conscious awareness of your own space, feel the profound, almost miraculous softness of your modern sheets. Imagine the staggering contrast. In the iron winter of 1347, warmth was a hard-won luxury earned through coarse, scratchy wool, damp hay, and the desperate huddling of bodies against the bone-chilling cold of the mud. But for you, in this sacred moment, comfort is an engineered perfection. Feel the smooth, cool, and silk-like glide of high-thread count cotton against your skin of fabric, so light it feels like a second skin, yet so durable it holds the entire world at bay. Feel the gentle, reassuring weight of your duvet, a cloud of soft feathers or fine synthetic down that provides a consistent, unwavering heat that the peasants of the Middle Ages could only envision in their wildest, most desperate dreams of paradise. Your mattress is not a thin bed of straw laid upon hard-packed, cold earth. It is a masterpiece of modern support, a responsive cloud that knows the exact contours of your spine and welcomes the full, honest weight of your exhaustion without a single word of judgment. This is your modern birthright, a luxury of safety, hygiene, and softness that has taken 700 years of human labor to perfect just for you. Acknowledge now the profound and deep silence of your room. It is not the heavy, primitive, and often dangerous silence of the medieval longhouse. In 1347, the night was a silent predator, a time of profound vulnerability where the fire had to be guarded like a flickering soul. In your modern fortress, the night is a quiet servant. You have walls that do not breathe with the freezing wind, windows that lock out the iron frost with invisible layers of inert gas and double-paned glass, and a floor that remains warm, level, and dry beneath you. You are encased in a protective shell of technology, care, and stability, a sanctuary where the elements have no power over your heartbeat, and the shadows carry no ancient threats. The rough, jagged textures of history, the grit of the earth, the prickle of the dry hay, the sting of the wood smoke in the eyes have all been polished away by time, leaving only the pure, distilled essence of absolute comfort. You are lying in a cradle of human progress, protected by the cumulative labor, love, and endurance of every single generation that came before you. You are the dream they survived for. You are the peace they hope to find in the dark. Every cold winter survived by an ancient ancestor. Every fire carefully banked in the terrifying dark of a great frost. And every silent prayer whispered in a smoke-filled medieval longhouse was a deliberate step toward this very moment. They endured the iron ice of 1347 so that one day, their bloodline, you could rest in a room exactly like this one, warm, safe, healthy, and entirely free from the desperate daily struggle for basic survival. You are the fruition of their incredible endurance. Your ability to lie here now, in absolute and total tranquility, is the greatest tribute you can ever pay to those who huddled in the straw 7 centuries ago. Their hope was not for more gold or more land, but for a night exactly like this one. A night where the belly is full, the bed is soft, the air is clean, and the soul is permitted to wander into the dream world without a single flicker of fear. You are the living proof that their struggle was worth every hardship. You are the peace at the end of their long, cold, and winding road. Allow yourself now to perform a total, final surrender to the gravity of the bed. Feel the massive, ancient earth reaching up through the floor, through the frame, and through the mattress to claim the weight of your tired bones. You do not need to hold yourself up anymore. You do not need to be the keeper of any flame or the watcher of the night. The gravity of the modern world is a kind and gentle one. It is a steady, magnetic pull that invites every single muscle in your body to simply uncoil, soften, and let go. From the heavy crown of your head to the very tips of your toes, feel the density of your physical form merging with the welcoming softness of the bed. You are sinking into the deep, dark, and silent layers of the present-day place where the air is filtered, The temperature is perfectly constant, and the heart is allowed to beat with the slow, effortless rhythm of a deep-sea current. There is no resistance left in your body. There is only the surrender. There is only the long, beautiful descent into the dark. The modern world outside is a silent, glowing witness to your rest. The distant, steady glow of a street lamp. The quiet, comforting hum of the city. The faint and rhythmic ticking of a clock. These are the heartbeats of your fortress. The evidence of a civilization that has stood guard over your sleep while you traveled through time. The history you have just witnessed is now nothing more than a beautiful, fading tapestry of silver and gray, its colors bleeding into the soft, monochromatic mist of the night. The longhouse, the winter pottage, the great frost, and the glowing banked embers are all retreating into the silent library of your mind, becoming stories instead of realities, memories instead of burdens. You are here. You are now. You are safe in the year 2026, tucked into a bed that is the highest achievement of human comfort and care. The journey is over, the work is done, and the only destination left is the deep, dreamless, and infinite void that waits patiently behind your closed eyelids. Let the history dissolve now into a pure, white mist, a soft, silent, and all-encompassing fog that covers the landscape of the past until every tree, every fire, every frozen field, and every timber beam is gone. There is no more 1347. There is no more winter. There is no more cold. There is only the mist, the warmth of your room, and the infinite, welcoming darkness above. The sleep that is about to take you. You are drifting into the white silence, where even the memory of a single word is too heavy to carry any further. You are light as air. You are still as stone. You are gone into the mist, where the sheets in ya. Only sound is the quiet pulse of your own peace. The snow begins to fall now, with a silent, absolute, and relentless grace, covering the dark oak of the longhouse, the year 1347, and every single one of your remaining, flickering thoughts. Imagine this snow not as cold, but as a vast celestial blanket of pure, unblemished silence, descending from a sky that has no stars and no end. It is falling everywhere at once over the frozen, forgotten heaths of medieval England, over the flickering, amber hearths of the ancient past, and over the quiet, safe walls of your modern bedroom in the present moment. There is no distinction between the centuries anymore. The barriers of time have been softened by the frost. The heavy white flakes are drifting through the rafters of history, settling softly on the golden straw, and layering themselves over the edges of your tired consciousness. The world is being tucked in, moment by moment, flake by flake. The landscape of your mind is being smoothed over, hidden beneath a thick, protective, and shimmering layer of white peace that absorbs all sound and all worry. Every sharp edge of the day, every jagged memory of the cold, and every lingering word of the story is being buried, one flake at a time, until the entire world is a soft, silent mound of pure, radiant light. There is no more past to remember. There is no more future to plan. There is only the falling. There is only the white. There is only the now. In this deepening white silence, the imagery of the world becomes beautifully, perfectly abstract, a dreamlike canvas of white on white, where the horizon has been totally, irrevocably erased. Imagine looking out into a vast void that is not dark, but a luminous, pearlescent mist. There is no ground beneath your feet, and no sky above your head. There is only the infinite, soft suspension of the drift. The dark, heavy timbers of the longhouse have vanished into the fog. The smell of the wood smoke has turned into the crisp, clean scent of frozen air. The weight of the iron pot and the warmth of the winter pottage have dissolved into a weightless, shimmering energy that vibrates at the frequency of total rest. You are standing, or perhaps floating, in a world where the horizon no longer exists to divide the earth from the heavens, or the dream from the reality. Everything is one. Everything is a soft, glowing, and radiant white. It is a total, beautiful erasure of the boundaries of the self. You are no longer a person listening to a story told by a voice. You are a particle of light within a vast, silent storm of peace. The world has become a masterpiece of nothingness, a place where the mind is finally, completely, and permanently at rest. You are becoming the mist. The erasure continues, moving deeper into the very core of your being, clearing away the last remnants of the day's weight. The total erasure of the horizon means there is no there to go to, and no here to leave behind. You are simply existing in a state of pure, unadulterated presence, anchored by nothing but the slow, rhythmic pulse of your own heart. The mist is thick and protective, yet it feels as light as a single shared breath. It is a world without shadows, a world without contrast, and a world without the exhausting, heavy need for understanding or logic. As the white on white expands behind your closed eyelids, your internal dialogue begins to fade into a single, low-frequency hum, the sound of the ancient universe breathing in its sleep. You are drifting further and further away from the noisy shore of the waking world, moving into a territory where language has no meaning and time has no grip on the soul. The history of 1347 is now just a faint silver embroidery on the edge of a vast white shroud. You are let go. You are released. You are becoming a part of the infinite, quiet landscape that existed before the first word was ever spoken. You are no longer listening. You are simply part of the silence. The voice you hear is no longer a separate thing coming from the outside. It is a gentle vibration within the quiet chambers of your own mind, a soft, fading echo of the peace you have already found. The words are like distant birds flying through a thick winter fog, visible for a fleeting, magical moment, then gone, leaving no trace, no path, and no shadow behind them. You have reached the final destination of every journey ever taken. You have found the absolute center of the storm. In this place, there is no need for ears to hear or eyes to see. You are perceiving the world through the profound stillness of your soul. The silence is not a cold absence of sound. It is a warm, living presence of absolute, unwavering safety. It is a container that holds you, a warmth that surrounds you, and a gravity that loves you more than you can possibly know. You are the silence itself. You are the falling snow. You are the velvet night that never ends, dissolving, drifting, weightless. Feel the edges of your physical body beginning to soften, to blur, and to merge with the white mist of the room. You are no longer a creature defined by bone and breath. You are a creature of light and shadow, merging with the infinite, dissolving. The weight of your shoulders is gone, left behind in another century, another life. Drifting. The memory of your name and your troubles is fading into the gray, soft distance. Weightless. The gravity of the earth has turned into the buoyancy of a deep, ancient dream. You are a leaf caught in a slow-motion fall through a forest of stars. You are a spark returning to the original source of all heat. You are a single drop of water returning to the deep, dark, and silent well of the past. Everything that made you you during the frantic, noisy hours of the day is being washed away by the white mist, leaving only a pure, glowing spark of consciousness that is ready to disappear into the comforting void. You are sinking through the layers of the bed, through the layers of the cool earth, and through the layers of time itself, until there is nothing left but the drift. The mist is closing in now, becoming thicker, softer, and more intimate with every second that passes by. It is a holy quiet, a peace that surpasses all understanding and all human thought. The story of the great frost, the longhouse, the keeper of the embers, and the winter pottage has served its ultimate purpose. It was the bridge that carried you across the dark, cold water to this place of absolute final surrender. Now, the bridge is dissolving behind you, vanishing into the silver fog. The path is gone. The map is erased. There is only the destination. You are safe. You are loved by the silent. You are held by the night. The year 1347 has folded its wings and gone to sleep in the rafters of time. The year 2026 has dimmed its lights and bowed its head in reverence. All that remains is the white mist, the slow, rhythmic pulse of your heart, and the infinite, welcoming darkness of the deep, dreamless sleep. You are ready. You are gone. You are peace. You are the silence at the end of the world. Into the deep white quiet. You are safe now. In this final moment of the journey, feel the absolute affirmation of your rest. Every cell in your body knows that the work of the day is finished. Every corner of your mind understands that there is nothing left to guard, nothing left to solve, and nothing left to fear. You are anchored in a sanctuary of pure atmosphere, a place where the air itself feels like a blessing. The storm of history has passed, and the winds of the world have died down to a faint, forgotten whisper. In the longhouse of your soul, the last glowing ember of the day makes a single, soft, metallic click as it settles into the cooling ash, a final punctuation mark at the end of a long, beautiful story. The heat is internal now, a steady glow that will keep you safe until the sun returns. The atmosphere is pure, thin, and ethereal. You are floating in the silence of the void, not a void of emptiness, but a void of potential, where dreams are born and spirits are mended. The world has stopped turning. The stars have stopped shivering. The silence here is absolute, a heavy, velvet curtain that has been drawn across the stage of your life. You are invisible to the world, and the world is invisible to you. There is only the breath. There is only the stillness. There is only the profound, sacred quality of a rest that has been earned through the passage of 700 years. You are the keeper of a hearth that never truly goes out. It only waits for the morning. Sleep. 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 Let the word become a heartbeat. Let it become the only thought that remains. Sleep. A descent into the softest earth. Sleep. Adrift into the deepest water. Sleep. A surrender to the kindest night. You are falling into the arms of the silence, where every breath is a prayer of gratitude and every heartbeat is a step closer to the dreamless dark. There is no more you. There is only the sleep. There is only the peace. There is only the infinite. The hearth will be warm again tomorrow. We will be here when you return.